Big. Hello.
La-
Oh, we're live, and
Hi,
you've gone all have you gone all like funny? There you are. You're here now.
I'm back. Yeah, right.
You're back. Yeah, you. How are you?
I'm all right. Ash is a little bit mad at me, everyone, because we're late for the
No, I'm
live.
not mad. I
To
love you, really.
be honest, he's mad because my friend is home from Australia, and the same friend who surprised me in July, and the
Yeah.
baby, obviously, she brought the baby, and oh my god, like she's chubby and fat, and she's smiling. She's seen me and started smiling. I was like, oh my god, she knows who I am. Like, obviously, I've spent most of her life talking to her through a screen. And
Yeah.
like she looked at me as if to say, I know you, but I don't know why I know you. And I'm going, hello, Ronnie. She's
You
gone.
got this thing about babies in general. So like this is like next level because you got this whole
Honestly,
thing. When my son was born, you were like, "What does he smell like?" I
I love it.
remember that, and I'd be like, "What?"
I love babies. Like anything under two is just on it. Just makes my womb go mad. I love it. I love babies, and that's why I'm in my son's bedroom. Hence the DJ decks and the
Yeah.
Xbox, because I needed to make sure I was here for her getting home, and then because of bloody traffic, she was late. So yeah, sorry I'm
Nah.
late.
Good. No, don't worry. It's all good. And I'm not annoyed. I said I'm not annoyed. You make it like I'm annoyed. I'm not annoyed. I'm not annoyed. Like I'm genuinely not. I was, as I say, and I said this to my wife as I walked in. I went, the thing is, like as soon as you sent the photo, I was like, yeah, I get it. It's you.
Honestly, I just couldn't know. I was like, I need to go and get it. I'm going back, so
It's
I'm
your
going to do this.
kryptonite.
Then I'm going back literally. So she was like, a partner. She's going. She's going out. She needs to go and see her family. And my partner's staying in, and he was like, "Are you coming back?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be back. I'm not leaving
So,
till like midnight." He was like, "Okay, thanks."
okay, that makes sense. Don't worry. And if we get it done, it's all good. Don't worry. So this week we're gonna it's like so derailed. This week we wanted to talk about I wanted to ask you this. We were asking me yesterday what we're gonna talk about. Um I wanted to put this idea about how to stand up for what you believe in because the reason why I say this is people go, your collar's going, oh, you think I'm mad. The actual opposite, because what I was thinking, and I was talking about this about you a couple of days ago to somebody, that's why I said this, was you are someone in the industry who has stood up for like a way of doing something. You know, you're very true to who you are and you follow um your heart and your gut, even if you know that it might not be the thing that people want or do. And I just wanted to understand what your thought process is about stuff like that, because I'm sure it has obviously made you very people love you and people watch you and stuff, but I'm sure it's probably ruffled feathers as well. And how does it make you feel and stuff like that?
Yeah, like I think whenever you're doing something, it always needs to be something that's true to what you feel. So, like I always use comparison, like when you go to school, you used to do well in the subjects you enjoyed. So, if you aren't doing what makes you happy, or you aren't and talking about things or living things that make you tick, eventually you are going to get sick, and your audience is going to get sick. So, if I stood up all the time or did videos all the time on, I don't know, mortgages, for example. I could very easily do mortgages, but it bores the living daylights out of me. So I could do it and I could advertise it, I could market it, but I couldn't do it for long as I've done this because it doesn't make me tick. Whereas children's cover, parents understanding insurance, like people actually getting the differences between good and shit cover, really, really I buzz off it. I love it. Like I genuinely like I see people now who've obviously seen I've like locally. I seen someone the other day in the supermarket and they said, "Oh, you're flying, and you're doing dead well." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's going good. Like I'm really enjoying it. Like you're absolutely smashing it. Like you working all the time and like everything's going well." And I was like, genuinely, genuinely don't feel like I'm working, and I know how lucky I am for that, because as much as I spend a lot of time doing what I do, I love every single minute of it. Don't get me wrong, now and again you get assholes who you want to scream at, but 99% of the time it's amazing because you get to I love I love it at the moment when people, and it sounds really sad, but I do genuinely buzz off it when people get that thing where they're like, "Oh, I get it now," Also, that's why it's more expensive. Oh, I've already got critical illness. No, you haven't. You've got terminal illness. Like, in the amount of times when I speak to people, and I'm not a big believer. I don't believe in reviewing clients cover for the crack. Don't believe in it at all. I'll say it all day long. If you're reviewing your clients cover every 2 or 3, 4 years just because you want to get paid a commission again, you're shit. Right? End of. I'm not saying don't get in touch with your clients. I'm not saying don't check the need reviewing, but there's a very big difference between a client ringing me and saying, do I need to change a cover? And me checking it and going, no, actually it's sound. That's all right, because they make sure it's okay. If I just think, you know what, if I add on an extra 10 grand on that life insurance, or if I add on, fracture cover, just rather than doing a separate policy and adding it on, if I just flip the full thing, like, that's terrible. But when you speak to someone who actually has got terrible cover and you're like, right, you're paying £16 a month because you've got life and terminal illness. I've got critical. No, I promise you haven't. Send me your documents. And then when they actually get a full service, as in, this is why it's this, and you back it up with like critical illness expert report, and you back it up with, look at what your policy is, look at the definitions, and they take the time to actually understand what they've got. That is such an amazing feeling for me, because I'm like, you're educating someone, you're actually showing them how they can protect themselves and the children. And you're not really doing anything other than your job, but you're just doing the job properly. And people take that for granted. So like things like that really, really like spur me on to keep doing what I'm doing. Like, I don't really care if people in the industry don't like what I'm doing, to be honest. Like, I would really like people to like what I'm doing and like the way I do things. But they aren't my audience, and they don't need me to make sure their insurance is good. They don't need me to explain the difference between level and decreasing, or critical or terminal or upgraded or standard. Like, they don't need that. What I want to do is speak to people who genuinely want to be covered but don't have the first clue of how to do it and want good advice. And good advice looks very different to whoever's looking at it. Like, people have a different definition of good advice. And I strongly believe that good advice means you're honest, you're upfront, you're straight, and you're giving someone information that they wouldn't normally be able to get hold of, and you're giving them it in a very clear, understandable way so that they have the ability to make the decision that's best for them. And that is that's the main motivator for me, that I can speak to as many people as I can in the UK, help them understand how to protect themselves and their children, and they know that they've got cover they're happy to pay every month because they understand it and they see the value in it.
You absolutely need to spend more time with your friend in Australia, because that's the best thing. You're literally just like, you're obviously pumped up on like a high, because you're like,
oh God, actually, I'm just looking now. I actually did speak there for like 5 minutes solid.
I just sat quietly there. I was watching you thinking, she needs to just move over, because you're literally like, I've never seen you like that before. It's so good. And like very quotable, very good stuff. I agree with you on all of it. And I think one thing I wanted to ask you then with that then is, because it was something I was chatting to people about, saying like, one thing that I've admired about you, and it was somebody asking me, they said, what's the thing? And I was like, you just stand up. And I think I said your ignorance is what makes you good, is that you were like, I don't know this industry when you first started, and you didn't pretend like you did. You just went in and went, this is what I think it needs to be done. And it was just interesting how you do that and how you navigate that. Like you say, it's like how through industry people, who I see so many people who are trying to sell to impress or trying to make content that impresses their peers, as opposed to actually helping people. And I think
what they feel strongly about. Like, and that's where you'll see, like, when I first started doing TikToks and things, and you'd see people like basically direct copy what I'm doing. Yeah. And their version was never going to be as good as mine, because mine's genuine and real. Their version's a copy. And when someone's copying, it's not because it's not something that they genuinely believe in and they're pushing with their passion. It's just something they think they have to say. It never works. Like, I was scrolling, it was funny you should say that, because I was scrolling back through my TikToks last night, and I can point out the ones, I can literally, without even like going past 10 seconds, I can see the ones where I'm like, oh, like I want it out because I believe in it. And the ones where I'm like, oh, fuck, I haven't done any content. I need to do
yeah, I find that.
You can see it because it's not all bloody hell. every day of the week's not bloody Willy Wonka. Like, I'm not buzzing every single day in the chocolate factory. You know, it's stressful. I do need to like get like anger out sometimes, and sometimes I forget to do things that I need to do. And you can see a mile off when the content is that type of content, because you're like, your mind isn't in the same frame as it is when you're doing something that you genuinely believe in and you're passionate about. Like, the whole thing blows a completely different way.
Well, that's like you though, because the reason I said, and I've like, you've seen it in my business, and it's you. I always credit you with it, because the amount of conversations that I've had with you, where you were like, and to me, you were like, well, how you are in our appointments is not how you are in your videos. And it's funny because I started watching yours and looking at it going, yeah, okay, I do need to be more. I think the videos where you sit down, and it's so funny. And that's what I mean about standing up, is the videos where you walk in a room and go, this is how I feel. I feel like this. And I know you might find this offensive, like not offensive, but you know what I mean? Like you disagree or whatever, but I have to say it. And that's the videos that I didn't do that. I never did that because I was so scared. And that's what I was saying. That's where this conversation came from with someone, was I was like, when I shifted to like, no, I think you should, if you're a mortgage broker and you don't charge a fee, I think you're a coward. That's my opinion. And it was like, do I mean it rudely? No. But as soon as I said it, I was like, yeah, because I can talk about it forever, because I have strongly believe you're worth it. And it's like that shift. And it was more from you. It was like, well, yeah, when I remember one of my videos that made me, one of my favorite videos you did of whoa. And I remember is when you were like, some people are actually saying that your policy needs reviewing. And I've had some calls from my clients and they say, but the reality is that is not true. And I remember that video being like, wow. And that was a big one though. And that's what I mean about standing up, because what's quite funny with that is that when you made that video, there's a lot of professionals, that type of content. There's a lot of professionals out there who would look and go in the industry going, you shouldn't say that, Carla, because I disagree with them, but like, because that's now going to impact my income or impact this. But the reality is, you know what I mean? Like,
do your job right then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I love about it. It's like, no, do your job. You should have do your job. Yeah.
Why don't we have the responsibility of it? Like, that's what winds me about this industry, is that people can literally walk around giving shit advice non-stop, not getting pulled on it, flipping clients, getting paid purely doing it for commission, not for, like I always say, conscience over commission. If I am not doing the right thing by you, if it's something I wouldn't want done to me or my grandma or my mum, then I'm not going to do it to you. And lots of people in the industry don't have that. And I'm not trying to say that I'm fantastic for doing that. That, to me, that's a standard given. Like, that should just be a given. Like, we have the power and the knowledge. Knowledge is power. And we have the power to be able to get people good cover, shit cover, more expensive cover, or flip it just because we want paying commission, and they'll pay a little bit more, but we'll just tell them that it's because of this. Like, we have that. And if you aren't doing what's right on your conscience, then shame on you. But the fact that there's not enough about in the industry to say, why have you done that? How come we are flipping so many of your clients? Like, surely all these clients aren't needing reviews. And it's like, when I say, like, I did a video last night I put out saying, you think you've got good cover, but check it. That's not me saying, come to me and let me change your cover. That's me saying, send me over your cover. I have I'd say probably 70-30, 30% people I'd say, no, I'll leave your insurance where it is. I'm not going to do anything with it. It's fine. Like, because that's the right thing to do. And those same clients will refer me to their friends and family, because instead of me saying, oh no, I'd do this, or I'd swap this, or I'll change this, I've said, no, it's sound, leave it where it is. It's good cover. You don't need to do anything. Who do you think they're going to refer? The salesperson or the person who's just being honest with them and reassured them?
Yeah, you.
Like, do what's right. Do what's right. It'll come back round and smack you in the face with better things. Like, that's all you need to do. But do what's right when you're passionate about what you're talking about. And I just think you can tell a mile off when you've got a really good advisor who cares, because they're not even, like, people say to me, how do you do so many clients? Are you buying leads? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not buying leads. Like, I get messages all the time, where'd you get your leads from? I'm not buying leads. I don't need to, because I get it off social media, because people can see that I give a shit, so therefore want me to do their insurance. Like, it's really not that hard. It's really simple. Just pick something you're passionate about, talk about it non-stop, do what's right by your client, and within 2 years you'll have a client base that wants to refer you and wants you to do well because you've done right by them.
that's the right way, and that's so, and it is, as you say, being open and public about it, like super
Yeah.
public about, like, you know, how many others are people are sat on a like this saying this? Most people aren't. In fact, most people are like, they might believe it, but they're not saying it. And if you don't say it, how is anyone going to know? And I think that's the thing that you do so well, is you're very public. And
Yeah, the thing that I had a few messages about a couple of weeks ago, I put it on LinkedIn. It's been on TikTok about getting insurance when you're fat, having a high BMI.
yeah,
You can't, you know, well, that doesn't work. You can't really say that. And I'm like, why can't I say that? That's what it is. I'm not saying the client's fat. I'm not saying the client's overweight. But the truth of the matter is, if you've got a BMI of 34, 9 out of 10 providers are rating you. So you have the right to know that, because if that would encourage you to lose weight to save money, why shouldn't you know that? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
completely agree.
their insurance. They're getting rated. You're getting rated for this reason. This is how you can change it. If you lose weight and all your medical says the same, we'll redo your cover so that you're saving some money. How is that not the right thing to do by the client?
Absolutely the right thing.
It's just bizarre. Like, oh, you can't say that. You can't tell them that. Well, why not? I don't get it.
I also think with this as well, and I obviously don't want to get too much into this, and we'll wrap this one up for you, but it's one of those where, so you can get back. But it is one of those.
Never mind the fact that Alba's bad as well, by the way. So that just tops on it. But anyway.
I know. But like one thing that's quite interesting, and this is, you know, you saying, like, I remember a comment, we've seen it, it's been public, and some people have gone like, what do you do for the insurance industry? And that's what I wanted to say about it. And the reason I'm saying it is because I've been looking at it and he's a dickhead.
I do nothing. I do nothing
for the insurance industry. No, but the thing is, it's like, what do you do for the insurance industry? Absolutely nothing, because the insurance industry is not my client.
No,
that's and that's what, when people put these posts up going, what have they done for it? And I know, because I was looking at it a couple of days ago with me speaking about it, and I thought people are too busy. And I was listening to an audiobook about it at the weekend as well. And it's like, stop trying to impress people who don't matter, and stop trying to. The reason why you're doing so well, and that's what I say about standing up, is because you focused on who your client is, who they need, what they need, and not to try and make everybody else impressed in your industry. And I think this is the thing, is that by doing that, you actually do change an industry, because you re-educate and make people have to hold themselves to a higher standard. So dickheads who say things like that, and I just wanted to say it because I'm publicly, because I've read it a couple of days ago and thought, what a wanker. But it is one of those scenarios where people need to stop looking at, you know, who they're trying to impress, and instead try and think about, are they doing the job right?
Exactly. Like, my job here isn't to impact the industry. That I would like to impact the industry, but I'll only do it if it means that it's by how I'm on my train journey to where I'm going. Where, like, my dream isn't to impact the industry. My dream is to change the industry for the client, not for the industry. Like, the industry, I would love to help people. I'd love to help people grow and change, but that's never been my mission to impact this industry, as in, like, I'm changing what you do and how we do it. I want to help the client understand the cover. I want to help close that gap between product and end user, because it's so confused and conflicted with, like, how we speak about the product compared to how a client understands it. That's the bit I want to bridge the gap on. But everyone has different aims, don't they? And at the end of the day, stay in your lane. You pick which lane you're in, and I'll stay in mine, and then we'll see which one gets to the end faster.
And that is the best place to end it. Any parting words, or are we good there?
No, I just can't wait to go and squeeze my baby.
I can see it in your face. No worries. Well, I'm going to end that one there. Oh, or maybe not. Let me just press the buttons so I'm not live.